Sontarans versus Rutans has officially begun. Big Finish's little event mini-series celebrating 50 years since Commander Lynx strode out of his little Sontaran pod, his little golf ball, and annexed the planet Earth, much to the bewilderment of good old Iron Gron and his good man Bloodaxe. But here we are, 50 years on from that, listening to the Eighth Doctor, Charlotte Pollard, and Cariz, of all people,
Hmm.
facing off against Sontarans and Rutans back in Roman times, And not only that, but these Sontarans believe they are Roman legionaries over on,
Sontarans.
over on the Giant's Causeway in Ireland, which has its own unique mystery to play into this story, written by Lizzie Hopley. What did you think of this? Our first review of 2024. I
Yeah.
mean, the first thing I've listened to from Big Finish 2024. We did have Chaos Cascade as well
Yes.
the last week. But here we are, first full cast audio drama of 2024. Yeah, getting all the firsts in there. How
Sorry.
was it?
Uh, I was very excited for this because when I started my Big Finish journey nearly 10 years ago now,
Mm.
one of the first audios I listened to was Timeworks, which featured Eight, Charlie, and Cariz. So this was sort
Oh.
of going back to where it began for me. And having just listened to another Lizzie Hopley story, Box of Terrors, which is a 9 hour audio novel, and then coming to this, which is, an hour long, just over an hour.
Yeah,
I
hour
had,
4 minutes.
yeah, I had an absolute hoot with it. I thought, my goodness, this is a lot of fun. It
Must have been a bit of
sets.
whiplash there as well.
Oh yeah, I was like, wow, the story's moving a lot quicker. If we're only in the 20-minute mark and we're already rattling through, it was amazing, great atmosphere, the build up, a lot of laughs to be. I think this story has it all, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a nice all-rounder, a good old romp with a good little bit of emotion in there as well. I can't lie, towards the end.
Oh yeah,
I mean, not to give anything away, but yeah, certainly might bring a little bit of a tear to your eye, surprisingly. Uh, yeah, I really did have a good time with this one. I think it's fair to say.
it's it sets up the series very well. It has questions, but like you said before we started recording, it works as a standalone piece.
Hmm. It's got its own beginning, middle, and end, doesn't it?
Yes.
Its own set pieces, but there's like an overarching mystery there at things. And the Doctor himself even says, "I suppose I'll never know." Uh,
Yeah.
at the end, which is interesting. So it's sort of like it puts you very much in the Doctor's shoes for this one, doesn't it?
Hmm.
As there's certainly something going on there. And I think it's why this works better as an event series than something like Once and Future did, where because that was ongoing with the Doctor, like each story took place one after the other for them, but they all tried to be standalone still.
Yeah.
Whereas this works standalone because we're bouncing up and down the Doctor's timeline. We got the third Doctor next month for the next story. Um, and I think that's what helps them to be standalone because they're also kind of standalone for the Doctor too. Like
Yeah.
these are adventures he's going on, but they all have something connecting, and we don't know quite what yet. But I'm intrigued. But also, I don't feel like I'm missing out by not. Obviously, I've already pre-ordered the rest of them. But if you are someone who only really likes your Eighth Doctor, you're a big fan of Cariz and Charlie, the early Big Finish stuff, and you're tempted by this, but you're not sure about the rest of the series. I'd say you can just get this on its own, and you'll be satisfied. Maybe you'll be tempted by the end of it to continue on, but you're not going to be at a loss if you don't
Yeah.
get the others. And I know there are quite a few Big Finish listeners who are like very Eighth Doctor centric,
Yeah.
because he's the Doctor who never had a proper TV run.
And I
So that's
think
like balancing out that.
and I think this story, it genuinely does feel like an early Big Finish. The way the music feels and how I wouldn't say this is sort of a criticism, I guess, little nitpick. is how the sort of the mixing of it seems a little bit janky. Like the theme tune kind of abruptly ends into like the first scene, and
Oh yeah, that was a bit funny.
yeah, and you've got sort of maybe the music goes on for a little bit too long on scenes for you to question, going, okay, is there meant to be something happening here? Am I missing something? I just
I feel like that's Big Finish.
yeah,
Not a lot of the time. I don't think it's that bad an issue. Not with this one either, because I think it's
no.
quite nice music.
Oh yeah, it's a great music, and especially the start, I really liked that.
Hmm. I think listening to as much Big Finish as we do,
Hmm.
we get used to a lot of the music. Like, oftentimes it can get a bit repetitive,
Yeah.
and you notice like familiar themes. But this felt very fresh for the most part, and quite epic as well.
Yes.
I think it does have a almost a new series pace to it. It's by Joe Kramer,
Ah, okay.
music on this one, who is a regular face at Big Finish. But yeah, he's worked wonders with this particular story, I will say.
Especially when you have that this sort of very 1960s feeling to the story, of them sort of exploring the Causeway.
Hmm. Yeah, the early parts of the story where it's just your main trio getting split up, of course. Cariz has an interesting little subplot, doesn't he?
Yeah,
But
and I think this is one of the downfalls for Cariz's character in the past, that they didn't really utilize him to his advantage. And he's a companion that can logistically only be done on audio because he's sort of a chameleon, can change and blend into sort of the background, as it were. And
mm,
there's only a couple of stories that kind of deal with that, like Other Lives, which is a fantastic story. That's what this one reminded me of, actually. Um, and him sort of being on the side of the Celts and the Rutans, that was interesting, how he was sort of
yeah,
a sympathizer for them, really.
yeah, because he is also a shapeshifter of sorts, isn't he?
Yes.
Get a bit tongue twisted there with that shapeshifter of sorts. Uh, yeah, and so it makes sense that they would be put together in this story. I mean, I suppose part of it is helped by the fact that Lizzie Hopley, the writer, very much wanted Cariz in this, whereas maybe some other writers back in the day, so, they wanted to write their Big Finish story for the Eighth Doctor, and suddenly they were told, you've also got to include Cariz here.
Mhm.
And they were like, oh, I don't really want to do that. Bit like, writers back in the 80s, particularly with the Fifth Doctor, where they're given like three companions, and they're like, oh, I don't know what to do with these. I just want to write about my own characters and the Doctor. So, perhaps it was a similar vibe to that. Whereas here, Cariz is wanted, and I think you can feel that.
Yeah, you can tell that there's a lot of love behind it, because obviously it's lovely to see there's a renaissance for the character, because obviously
Mm.
there's been new blood, new listeners into Big Finish now. And I think we can appreciate the strengths of the character and the potential that's there. And I for one want to get further adventures of Careers Charlie and Eight. It's definitely left me hungry for more of that TARDIS team.
I mean, this was my first Cariz story,
Oh, how was it? How
and
was it?
yeah, I didn't mind him as a character. I think it's all like, because there's a lot going on and it's only 1 hour. There's not really much time for me to necessarily form a full opinion on him one way or the other.
Yeah.
But I certainly enjoyed him and the interactions between this main trio. I mean, Charlie, I think, comes out very well from this one. She's been having a very good couple of years, like a full-on
Mm,
comeback, a renaissance of Charlie, really, since the Further Adventuress box set 2 years ago now.
yeah.
Yeah, she's been popping up in Doomsday, Classic Doctor's New Monsters, the ongoing stuff with Audacity, and now this nice little bonus as well, where she plays off very nicely with the Sontarans, and
Captain Salutio.
yeah, particularly General Ignatius Antonius Salutio. Yes.
Played by John Banks, the original Big Finish Sontaran voice actor. So that was nice to get him involved in the celebrations.
Mm. But you've also got Dan Starkey there as well as Commander Caecilius Crassus Oculus. I hope I'm
Which
getting that right. He has an interesting scene involving a bath, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think that was a highlight for me.
Again, it's
Just
got humour as
yeah,
well. It's got a lot going for it, all in this one nice little package.
just that between Eight and Charlie, and the Sontaran and the bath, that was great. And then obviously using a grenade as a paperweight, it was what and the how that sort of incorporated for Eight to get back to the TARDIS is brilliant. Silence,
was a
boy.
bath bomb.
Oh dear. Coming to a lush very soon. Sontaran bath bombs.
I just had a very good time with this one.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's just a good old fashioned Doctor Who romp. It's got great action set pieces because we actually see the Rutans and Sontarans actually going at it. I think.
Yeah, you did.
For the first time, I think I could be mistaken, but I feel like this is the first time we've actually got something.
I mean, there was that adventure game, wasn't there?
Yeah, in the gunpowder plot. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's nice that this event, even though it's 50 years of the Sontarans, I think the Rutans and the Sontarans are sort of like two monsters that are always going to be connected through that war. But you don't often see them that way because, I mean, on screen, we've never seen them together. We've
No.
seen Rutans in Horror of Fang Rock. And then that's about it. So it's
Which the story replicates quite well with the mist on the causeway and the mist going green. That's really
that adds
good.
a lot of atmosphere, yeah.
And how it utilizes sort of the myth of Giant's Causeway is brilliant as a setting.
Yeah, very evocative, isn't it?
Yes.
It helps you to really imagine this, particularly with that mist. It adds a lot of atmosphere when it's mentioned in the story. I mean, also, just the themes that it presents with the Sontarans, I hope that they come back going forward as well in this. I won't go too into detail with that, but yeah, certainly some interesting questions are posed revolving around them. That I imagine would be nice if this wasn't just about a mystery, but also had some thematic things to discuss involving them as well going forward. But yeah, I mean, that is one other thing though about this episode and Sontarans versus Rutans as an arc. I think no matter how it shapes out, I'm always going to be happy with the Battle of Giant's Causeway. I think it's because sometimes with these things, like Once and Future again, going back, not to rag on about it, but this feels like it's doing that event, but also individual releases so much better because these do still stand alone well enough that you're not waiting to see where things go and how things are paid off to judge the quality of what you've just listened to. Like, I think Battle of Giants Causeway is very, very good, a very fun time. And even if the rest of Sontarans versus Rutans ends up being a complete mess and however it works out doesn't make any sense at all, or it's just very disappointing, which I doubt it will be.
No. Got Tim Foley next. So
if that does happen though, it won't reflect badly upon Giant's Causeway.
No. And I think this probably was a box set because the way John Dorney speaks in the behind the scenes, and then obviously just getting the initial artwork for this, it does make you think maybe this was sort of a last minute change to go, why don't we do it individual? And I think probably a wise choice to allow each story to breathe and us to appreciate events like this story.
Yeah, they get to be more of an event, whereas if this was to come out as a box set, I think we'd very quickly be listening to Battle of Giants Causeway just so we can get straight into the wonderful Tim Foley Children of the Future script of the Third Doctor. Like, that'd be the drawing factor. Whereas this now just gets to be a drawing factor on its own. I'm not against Big Finish doing more of this, these little ongoing series, because, I mean, for one thing, gives us individual cover art.
Yes. And we're used to it, because we used to get the Fourth Doctor individually. So we were used to paying, whatever, £20 to complete a story, as it were, like Paradox Planet, Legacy of Death, and it started with the Eighth Doctor and Lucy stuff, so it's not a new thing.
And again, it's not to complete a story because, like I say, this stands alone.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you've not already got the message, give Battle of Giants Causeway a go. Or maybe wait until the entirety of Sontarans versus Rutans is out, see what people say about the rest of it before
Um,
diving into the whole thing if that interests you. But
yeah.
certainly, so far, very good.
Best big finish of the year.
True. I
Yeah.
can't argue.
You can't argue with it. It's true.
Hopefully, doesn't remain that way. No
I did,
offense to it,
no, I mean we said
but
that
yeah,
about River Song, but
yeah,
it stayed there, and I'm really excited about the future of what we've got upcoming, and I think that this
mm,
has made me excited for the year.
yeah. It's reinvigorated us a little bit, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What we needed going into 2024. And I mean, Children of the Future is what I need now.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
sign me
excited.
up. Yeah, put it in our
Yeah.
ears.
But I mean, out of 10,
Oh, do you know what? I'm gonna go 9. I had a real good time with it.
I'll go an 8.5. Well,
Yeah.
there we go. Pick it up. Have fun with it.
And you'll thank us for Sontaran bath time. It's great, honestly. You'll have a good
Uh,
time with it. I had a good old laugh at it.
uh, leave a like if you need a bath.
Yeah,
Leave a like if you don't need a bath too. Just leave a like, please.
yeah,
It's always
please, please.
appreciated. Comment down below if you've listened to this. Tell us what you thought. Comment down below if you haven't listened to it, and let us know if you're picking it up.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. And subscribe as well for more of whatever this just was.
Yes, for the rest of the series, and we cover Big Finish news, reviews, and streams, and much, much more. So if you like that, stick around, and we'll hopefully keep you entertained for your bath time listenings. There we go. Thank you everyone for watching, and
Take care,
we'll
everyone.
see you next time. Bye bye.